So the Golden State Valkyries expansion draft is tonight. And I did say in yesterday's video that if I hit 100 likes on that video, I would go live. Right now it is at, 367. We can somehow beat that like number, that would be insane. But yeah, I will be live for the Valkyries draft. But anyway, the WNBA has answered any questions about the draft. It's on 6:30 Eastern time. I'll be live from probably 6 to 7 Eastern time. Maybe 6 to 7:30 Eastern time. But let's take a look. So, they just answered questions. So, if a team's using a core player designation on a player, and WNBA says basically about if they're going to core a player, could they not be protecting? It says there's no ability for a team to use a core player designation as an additional means to protect the player. So, if a player is currently cored, they don't have to be protected. But if a team is, if a player is not currently cored and they're going to court them, like a Kelsey Mitchell or a Satu, they need to protect them. Valkyries only be able to select one player in expansion draft who is eligible to become an unrestricted free agent following 2024 season. Golden State may choose a player, provided the player has not previously played pursuant to a core layer contract for 2 or more seasons. Players eligible to become an unrestricted free agent and has already been a core for 2 or more seasons are not eligible to be selected. So like Greiner is not eligible to be selected. Neko Wumake is not eligible to be selected. And yeah, so that is one thing. But I would say the free agent, you never know who the free agent is going to be. It's probably realistically going to be someone like a Cheyenne Parker-Tyus or a Sammy Whitcomb or something. Probably Parker-Tyus, probably the best you're going to be able to get because she was an all-star last season. If there were any potential trades being made regarding the expansion draft, like teams trading picks to not select certain players or multi-team trades, players in protected pool, would they be made public this evening? And it says here, any trades will be revealed on the ESPN broadcast because you never know. Maybe it could be a situation like a hypothetical in Indiana not trading away their second round pick to not select Grace Berger if they wanted to keep Grace. Something like that. So that would be like an interesting one. And like, we can't forget, they don't have to select somebody from every team. They don't have to. They can because they only have 12 players. So they select players from 12 teams and then they have, 2 draft picks. They're going to have 14. And then there's free agency as well. So they don't have to select a player from every single team. Then how many picks can an expansion team have and can they make trades? It says Golden State will have the opportunity to acquire the player contracts with negotiating rights to one player from each of the teams in the lead up to the expansion draft. Golden State can make trades with existing teams, including an agreement to select a particular player and trade that player to a team other than their existing team. An agreement to select or not select a particular player. So, like, there is a hypothetical situation where, let's just say, Jade Melbourne is there, and she has a lot more value to a team other than the Valkyries. Maybe a team really wants her, or maybe not even Jade Melbourne, she's a young player, and she does have value for the Valkyries. Maybe Steph Dolson. And I've always said, like, you know what, Steph Dolson might have quite a lot of value for someone like Indiana. It means that they could go and trade a hypothetical Steph Dolson. I don't know, if they end up trading, like, if they end up taking, what's her name? They take Dantas, and then as a replacement for Dantas, they go and say, give us Katie Lou in a second, and we will give you Steph Dolson from Washington. They can do that as well. So it'll effectively give them Katie Lou Dantas in a second. So that is kind of an interesting one. Again, I don't think something's going to happen, and the reason why I'm always using Fever references is because most people will understand them. But yeah, so free agents like Kelsey Plum, the Aces will have had to use one of their saves for to avoid the Valkyries from having negotiating rights to choose her, and even then Kelsey could sign elsewhere if she wanted to. Am I understanding that correctly? Valkyries will only be able to select one player as an unrestricted free agent. Golden State may choose such a player provided the player has not previously played for a core for 2 or more seasons. Golden State can designate that player to a core player beginning January 11, giving the team exclusive negotiation rights. So if Golden State don't want the free agent and don't want to core them, they can literally leave. I just realized that. So if they, for example, take Parker-Tyus and don't core Parker-Tyus, they can literally just say, nah, go. That's a mad one. If an existing team has a potential unrestricted free agent, they can protect the player to ensure the player is not selected by Golden State. If protected, the team could designate the player as a core player in the manner. So, yeah, that's kind of mad. How many players will they draft? They'll have the opportunity to acquire a player contract or negotiating rights to one available player, so they don't have to take anybody. Players started the season, are they exempt? Each existing player was required to submit a roster list, include every player who they have the rights to, player and team active, suspended, draft list, reserved, core, and retired list. So basically, Elena Deladon can be taken. They can potentially take Leila Lacan, Carla Lete. If you are someone like the Dallas Wings, you can take, or if you're the Connecticut Sun, so like the Connecticut Sun are going to have to protect Leila Lacan. Because she's all-star potential level guard. But yeah, so every other player in the roster is available for selection. I think we see a couple of selections for teams that like aren't in the like lottery. Where were these? Have I missed? We'll see a couple of not in lottery weren't on the roster last year. Like Liz Kitley might be taken from the Aces, because Liz Kitley could be really, really good if she's healthy. And are the Valkyries allowed to talk to players? There are mechanisms available for Golden State to attempt to gauge a player's interest in possibly playing the WNBA. I mean, okay, yeah. So they're allowed to talk to players like a Maureen Johannes. They're allowed to talk to players like a Carla Lete, like a Leila Lacan, like Rupert. So they're able to at least talk to these players. So that's an interesting one. And I think there's going to be at least 2 picks of players that were not on the roster. Like, from the Dallas Wings, I don't know why I keep forgetting. But to be fair, I think Dallas keep Owak Kuier. They protect her. But Owak Kuier could be a perfect player. Like, a perfect player for them as a young franchise. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I would say it's going to be interesting. And who knows what their plan is. Like, they could draft a load of overseas players and go, you know what, we're just going to get a bunch of free agents. We're going to convince a bunch of them. We're going to take 5 players, 5 players to stash overseas. And then we're just going to get a bunch of free agents and hope they come. Like, that's a legit possibility. And not even just a legit possibility, that's a good possibility for the Valkyries. But, yeah, that is pretty much it. What do you guys think is going to happen in this expansion draft? I think it's going to be an interesting day. And I think it's kind of cool, again, with stuff like these expansion drafts. It makes things interesting. And look, it is December the 6th. It's going to make things interesting for the rest of this month anyway. Obviously, with college basketball being college basketball, there's going to be stuff there. And we've also then got Unrivaled happening in January. But before we go, we are doing Hoopsmas. We're uploading 5 videos every single day. And if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 39,700 by the end of the day. Our goal is 40,000 subscribers by Christmas. But anyway, I'll see you guys.